YouTube! How's it going, guys? Welcome to TPB's Tech-Bodge Emporium. How are you all? Now, this is a kind of a quick video to kind of just sort of like... I'm justifying a comment. Basically, I've made a comment a couple of times to do with Borderlands 4 and its optimization, pointing out another game that has a very similar texture base, uses the same engine, has a similar kind of cartoonish style, has a big open map, and obviously enemies and stuff, and like, but it also uses all the same features, like all the same. It uses the Nanite, uses Lumen on both shadows, reflections, uses RT. It's got everything. It's got it all turned on, and my point was that that game seems to be fine and run well over double the FPS, whereas this game probably doesn't actually demand more than the other game does graphically, and it still runs like fucking crap. Like the fact of the matter is, yeah, Randy can go stuff it up his arse. It is just down to they can't be arsed. The developers cannot be bothered to optimize the game, so that has left basically they're like, we don't need to optimize it because you can just turn DLSS and frame gen on. We don't need to optimize it because you can just run it at a lower resolution and then dump a load of latency and fake frames on there. We don't, and for anyone that's used DLSS at 1080p, depending on the game, you can get a fair bit of ghosting from DLSS at 1080p. I would take it from someone who like spent the last four or 5 years on a friggin' 3060. I had to use DLSS to stretch the length of the life of my card. It worked, and I'm grateful for it. But there were certain games, like mostly racing games. In fact, racing games, just all upscalers seem to just struggle with racing games when it comes to ghosting and stuff like that. Me personally, I try and stick to like MSAA if that's available. I just max that out and I use that instead. Or like in GTA, for example, I play at 1440p, but I basically super scale the image up to 4K in the GTA engine to anti-alias the image, because DLAA still has ghosting around the cars, and the only way to not have the ghosting in GTA is to upscale the image, because there's no MSAA in the enhanced edition. That being said, anyway guys, shall we get over and have a look at this game, and I'll explain what I mean. And yeah, I'm not hating on Borderlands 4, I'm hating on the devs for not optimizing it. I haven't bought the game purely because of the optimizations. I would happily play the game. I'd love to play the game. Played the first 3 chunks of them, but I played them all and they were all fun. This one is just like blaming shit that doesn't need to be blamed, you know? And that's the bit that's pissing me off. Like the fact that they're blaming the engine and using all these new technologies. It's hard to run. Well, it is hard to run, but I'm going to show you that it's not as hard as they're trying to make it out to run. And this is in a game that these particular settings aren't necessarily optimized in this game either, because let's be honest, no one really uses them. But we'll get onto that. So shall we jump onto the PC? Let's go. Right, okay guys, before we get into the game in question, I wanted to just remind us of the textures and the look of Borderlands 4. Now, as I said, I haven't purchased the game as of yet. I'm not going to unless the devs actually optimize the game, because until that happens, as far as I'm concerned, they don't deserve my money. Simple as that, Randy. But moving forwards, I feel like Randy's just living off the fact that he feels like no one's ever used any of these processes that the game is using in Unreal Engine 5, which is kind of crazy to think. But anyways, I wanted to bring up this footage just so that we could have a little bit of a refresher of what Borderlands looks like. It's a beautiful game, and what the textures look like and stuff. And we're just going to use this footage because it's 4K recording. Krizpo down here of zWORMz Gaming, he really does upload some pretty high quality footage. So yes, it's going through YouTube compression, yes, it's being recorded, and yes, it's going to go through YouTube compression again. But that is why I'm trying to use as higher quality video as I can. That being said, everyone go give zWORMz Gaming a follow on YouTube. Wicked little channel. He benchmarks pretty much every freaking GPU on the market. He's good at what he does. Tends to always kill Bob, and yeah, Jack can be a bit of a pain in the bum for him, but you know, in general, if you watch his videos, you'll understand. Anyways, by the by, let's just study this for a moment. First thing I want to crop up, anyone that's used the game that I'm going to bring up in a minute, this panel here, this floor panel with these grates and stuff, and this shape, it looks super familiar to me. And also these side panels here, I don't know whether they look familiar to anyone else. Also, these panels here, you know, these railings, they also kind of look familiar, especially if anyone else has used the game that we're going to talk in question in like a jungle biome. Just imagine these are slightly different textured, maybe sort of like a dark slatey, bluey grey, bluey black, like with a bit shinier. I don't know. So the whole point is I turned around and I said this game in particular that we're going to have a look at in a second had very similar textures to Borderlands, and everyone literally came, as every time I've mentioned it, everyone's been like, how can you even consider comparing these two games? How? Right, so I've got can we just have a look at these textures? They're all very fairly pastel colours, a little bit of outlining. I mean, again, right? Look how plain these distance shots are. All the grass is all up close. There's no grass at distance, right? So it's only rendering like quite a close load scale, like. But yeah, anyway, these shapes look familiar to me. Different colours, but look familiar. Different textures. But again, like I said, this game is a beautiful game, but it has quite a simplistic art style, which is why it doesn't really justify the performance that it's getting. Like, remember, this is 4K, badass settings, native, and this 5080, sorry, is getting 29 FPS. That's appalling, guys. This GPU should be getting 60. Right, this is the 4K GPU. The you know, like the 5070 of 4K. You know, it is the 4K GPU. The 5070 Ti is like an entry 4K GPU, and the 5090 is a ultimate, gonna kick the shit out of any resolution 4K GPU. I would like to take into account, I do like the sort of the thing with like Lumen and Nanite, this Nanite and the Lumen and that kind of stuff, is it does make things look a bit more 3D-ish. Like, for example, this, you can see here on his thumb, it's just a little bit fuzzier as it's closer to the camera, which kind of adds to the depth and stuff. But by the by, the game looks really, really good, but this is fucking terrible, and it just doesn't justify people spending money on the game. Right, anyways, so we'll jump into the game in question that I said has very similar textures to this, has a similar sort of art style to this, and is running in the same game, and kind of points out how terrible the optimization in this game is. But we'll get into the game now. Okay, guys, and the game in question is, of course, Fortnite. Yes, I said that Fortnite... Fucking phone, shut the fuck up. How many times do I need to tell you? Just shut up. Right, yes, the game in question is Fortnite. And before anyone starts, yes, I said that Fortnite shows how unoptimized Borderlands is, because it has similar textures and everyone lost their crap. All the Borderlands fans lost their crap because I was comparing this game to them, and they were like Fortnite's even close on textures. Well, we've just seen what Borderlands textures look like. Anyways, going through, I will explain as we're going through, but we're at 1440p, unlimited frame rate, and blah 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 blah. Motion blur is off. It says DLSS quality here, but with this game you have to force it, and if you see here under Fortnite, we're forcing DLAA. So this is native 1440p. I've got Nanite on, just like Borderlands. The Nanite's working. Global illumination is on full epic. Everything's maxed out. So I've got the Lumen running. I've got Nanite running. I've also got hardware ray tracing on, which you don't have in Borderlands. At present, as far as I know, it's all software based. So yeah, everything is epic. Everything is turned on, and you got to remember, yeah, that this is a game with a similar sort of aesthetic. It's got that sort of like cartoony look to it. There's even Borderlands characters in this game, you know. But it's not. It's, if anything, the textures in Fortnite are actually more intensive because they're not all cell shaded. I mean, I could choose a cell shaded character, but I chose one with a shiny head. I'm gonna go with Josie here. Got all cell shaded, but no, we go with something else. Mainly because he's got a shiny head. Right, so everything is maxed out. We're gonna dive in now. Now I'm saying this now because, like, in general, most people play this game on a console or on like a low budget system that someone's bought for their kid, or on a laptop. And when you see this benchmarked on YouTube and stuff, it's always benchmarking because, you know, it hits like those lower, you know, you can run it on a potato. And I'll be honest with you, in general, I don't think you've seen Fortnite look the way you're about to see Fortnite look. And this furthermore proves just how unoptimized Borderlands is. Right, okay. We're hanging here over the map right now. Let me just start the count on that FPS. So we're hanging over the map here. We just jumped out the bus. As you can see, I don't know whether this is going to come through through the YouTube compression and stuff, but this is looking pretty sharp, and it's not very stuttery for stutter night. Anyways, we're gonna have, as I said, this is everything on. This is all Nanite. I mean, I'm not telling you should play the game with these settings because that's just daft to suggest. However, holy crap, it looks good. This game look at the water, guys. Like, just look at the water. The water looks friggin' awesome. We'll come down now. We could do with finding a gun. I might take one of these bugs. But yeah, just the water looks fucking great, man. But again, like I said, we're getting like minimums of 60, right? As we come away from like these sort of like areas with a bunch of NPCs, but in there I'm getting like 60s. This gold stuff, these gold textures on the floor are freaking awesome. If you look, you can even see the glow. Because it's all RT'd and stuff, you can even see the glow off the bug when I'm on the gold. It's so fucking good, man. Like, again, I'm not telling people to play. No one sees the game looking like this. Why does no one see the game looking like this? Because, let's be honest, 60, 70 FPS is not good for Fortnite. Fortnite is the kind of game that more FPS means more better. However, let me just get the fuck out of here because I haven't got a gun. And I already heard the sing of a friggin' shotgun. Because, like, there's a bit of a shotgun epidemic in Fortnite at the moment. This brings me on to my next thing. Right, let me see if I can get this. Right, the chests, right? There's something about the chests and the way they're lit. They just look that little bit more sort of like they sort of just add to the 3D-ness of it. I just think they really make the whole thing look good. I should probably turn this shit up. Helps if the game's making a noise, doesn't it? Sounds like a fucking shotgun, man. Oh, that's because it is. Dickhead. Literally chased me down, that motherfucker. Yeah, fuck shotguns. I hate the shotguns. Although I will say these SMGs are a little bit wild. Someone's shooting at me. Oh, you prick. Fuck you. Right, let's go deal with the other guy now. But yeah, like, the textures do not look bad at all. Like, look at this road. Like, I don't understand what people have a problem with. Like, there's grass everywhere. We've got fucking particles flying around in the air everywhere. That's a better gun. What we got? Nice. I hate it when it doesn't fucking... Oh, I need to get that. So we can get that. Reduces stamina consumption, sort of thing. And now I get the next one. Let's fucking go. What's this give me? Increases reload speed. I'm not fussed about no shot sniper. We got no. Let's see if there's anyone else to kill. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I wouldn't suggest people play like this, but for you to deny the actual quality of this as a game, and I would like to point out that, you know, Fortnite is not optimizing these settings at all. No one plays with them, so he's moving like a sweat. I don't even know where I was getting shot at from then. Looked high. Can I do it? Oh, yeah. Fuck you. Right. Like I said, I'm not saying that you should play the game like this. But for you to deny it, I mean, look at that. That looks pretty, doesn't it? Where are they? Oh, there. What are you gonna do now, bro? Pick fights, bro. But even the, like, remember this game has shit building all the time, and even that's got, like, it's not, you know, even that has a level of quality to it, you know. Like all these textures, or 80% of the map is like destroyable. Like all the enemies are like people or AI, and that's got a combination of like, look at the water, guys. That's got a combination of like, what, over 100,000 different combinations with like skins and stuff. Plus you've got the NPCs on the map. So anyone that says that like, you know, my point is the frame rate in Borderlands, this game proves that the frame rates in Borderlands are not justified. I mean, how are you saying that this is, there's no way you're saying that this is an ugly game. No fucking way. Look at, like, it's not quite the as high fucking, you know, like a definition or whatever, like, but, you know, still got grass everywhere. Still got shit like this going on. I mean, this dude's pretty cool, man. And the gold, these gold textures are friggin' awesome, man. Like, and like I said, they show up. Like, look, this is the glow off my friggin' sticks. Look. And like I said, it's not perfect. You get this weird like shadow trailing sometimes. Didn't realise I wasn't full fucking health. But yeah, the game looks... come on, guys. Gotta admit, the game looks pretty. Like, I know you don't usually see Fortnite looking like this. And it's not brilliant. Like, I'm not telling you that, like, you know, minimum 60 FPS. Like, because let's be honest, you can ignore those, like, 1%. So little tears. And I'll be honest with you, you're not feeling them. I do not feel those stutters at all. And that's at, like, 60, 70 FPS. Holy shit. Nice. It's nice when something pops out of a fucking chest that's like, you know, pretty awesome. Neutralize what fucking threat? I don't know. But yeah, no, the chest, so... you see the sheen off that, like... Everything's RT, look. Like, everything gets a light off these sticks. That's why I chose these sticks. But there's just something about the chests and stuff. But you can't deny that this looks good. Like, and there's no way that the art style and the textures are a million miles away from what you're getting in Borderlands. I'm sorry, but there's just no way. And this is getting like... basically minimum 60s, around 70 to 80 FPS on average. What was it saying on average? 72. Fucking... why do I have to press the fucking button? Why can't I just jump at it? And like, you've got stuff like this all over the map. And this dude's shiny. And like I said, the gold, the fact that you get the little glow off this dude is pretty cool, man. you know, storms coming in. All these gold rocks and stuff like. But my point is, yeah, I said that Fortnite basically shows just how unoptimized Borderlands is, because it is a game with a similar art style, with similar textures, running, you know, 100 people on the map. It's fairly intensive. Is this guy gonna kill me? Look at this prick. Oh, I'm fucking glad I fucking killed you, you fucking asshole. I hate shotguns, man. Fucking hate them. Ugh, I hate shotguns, man. Yeah, fuck you. Oh, nice. I could do with some health, couldn't I? Let's get to some water. Let's see if I can fucking survive now. Oh, there's a fucking gold one of those. To get me some slips. Oh, fucking it's in the storm. Bastard. I know I'd survive once I'd got the slips, but I don't think I'd survive the fucking storm. There's only 3 of us left anyway. Just make sure everything's fucking reloaded. What bullshit that is, man. What bullshit is that? I'm fucking almost dead, and then like they're almost dead. I got one shot. Although I suppose I wasn't really full health, was I? I was like fucking half shield, half health. I should have paid a bit more attention to that. My fault. Anyways, doesn't change the matter. This is obviously a decent enough sense to go look. Remember, Borderlands is getting half the FPS. Less than half the FPS at native 1440p on this same GPU in the same game engine as Fortnite here, and let's be honest, these textures are probably a little harder to deal with, if I'm completely honest. But my point stands that, you know, let me turn this shit down. My point stands, yeah. This game literally proves that Borderlands, they've not even bothered trying to optimize that game in any way, shape or form. Randy, you can shut the fuck up, because you're full of shit, right? Fortnite is literally running the same technologies right now with all these settings that I've got on here. It's running the same technologies, the same Nanite and stuff. It's also running hardware ray tracing on top of all that, like for some acceleration on that point. It's in the same engine with similar texture levels and a similar art style, because it's sort of like cartoony. Like, anyone that says that I'm wrong, fair, argue the point. Please pipe up in the comments down below. But to me, this game just literally proves that, you know, Borderlands is just not even close to optimized. Because am I saying that it's good? You should play Fortnite with 70 odd FPS on a 5070 Ti at 1440p. No. What I'm saying is this is running all the same technologies in the same game engine with similar textures and a similar sort of like art style, I'm saying that this game is getting over double the FPS in the same game engine with the same technologies, in a similar art style with the similar textures. This is why people are saying that the game just does not justify what's going on. You could turn around and be like, oh yeah, but all the structures. Yeah, but most of the structures in Borderlands are static. 80% of the map in Fortnite you can destroy, and you can farm, and then you can also build on top of that. And you can say the enemies. Well, Fortnite has got NPCs. It has events that are going on at the moment, like the Megazord fight with a big bug in the middle that you can join in and be part of. There's NPCs all over the map. There's 100 characters on the map that it's got to render, and it's all got to be real time because they're all real people. Well, most of them. A chunk of them will be AI, so the engine's running that as well. And this is all happening and looking this goddamn pretty at like 60 minimum, 60 FPS minimum, which is what I've turned around and said, that sort of level of like technology and that sort of game, I don't mind a 60 minimum, but that is my minimum on a 5070 Ti at 1440p. Like I wouldn't put up with these frame rates normally. This is not how I'd normally play this game. I play this game with my kids, but this is not how I would normally play this game. But I'm using it to point out that when you have all the technologies that Borderlands is using turned on, this game still gets double the FPS. You could turn around and say Borderlands has got a bigger map. My argument is you do not need to render any more than Fortnite's map size of anything whilst you're running around. If you were in the middle of Fortnite's map, there is nothing that you could do in Borderlands that would mean that it would need to render any more world at any given time. You know, it's called optimization. As it creates more, it deletes, it stops rendering some in the background, you know? Like, look, the game's not optimized. And that's the only reason I haven't bought it, and that's the only reason I'm not playing it. This video is purely just to justify my point of Fortnite literally proves that the game's not optimized. Because you can turn all the same technologies on in Fortnite, and it is like a consistent 70 odd FPS. The quite flat frame time. There is some stutters in there. It's Stutternight. It's Fortnite. But in all seriousness, me personally, I find it smoother running the Nanite and the RT and stuff at a lower frame rate. If you think, like, I'm only losing maybe 10 FPS at the most intensive spots, whereas when I'm running with like 200 odd FPS, I might be losing 60 odd FPS when someone starts building up shit because it's got all that intensity with the other technology. With RT, it just seems to, I don't know, it seems to be able to deal with the building a lot better. I only really lose like maybe 10 FPS while someone's building in front of me, and they can go freaking crazy. So for me, this game proves that Borderlands is not optimized. Feel free to disagree with me. Jump in the comments. I would love to hear your point. And have you ever seen Fortnite look like this? I mean, have you actually ever seen Fortnite with all the settings turned on? It is kind of pretty. And I'm not lying. After playing with it for a bit, I kind of feel like I'd be alright with like Fortnite with these settings. But also, this is native. I can turn DLSS on now and get another, I think it bumps it up to about 100 to 120, that range. Instead of 70 to 90, it's like 100 to 60 to 80, it's like 100 to 120 instead. And that's just a nice little touch. And I'll be honest, at 1440p with DLSS 4, which is forced in this game now, a quality DLSS, it looks almost native. I'm not gonna lie, there's barely any difference. Anyways, that'll be me for this video, guys. I just wanted to show you that and make my point. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye bye. And don't forget, drop a comment if you disagree or you agree. Please just drop your comments. I'd love to hear what you got to say. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Right, okay guys, I completely screwed the audio up on this one. Didn't have the mic anywhere near me. Came out really echoey. Didn't want to use the audio on it, so I figured well, this is basically just a bit of bonus footage for you of how it performs with DLSS quality, and you can see that really the image quality isn't impacted at all. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you stick through to the end, I was going to re-record this, but the little bit of battling with the Megazord at the end was kind of fun, so I left it in. Seeing as the audio is crap, I figured I'd just crank up the music. Enjoy, and thanks for watching, guys. I love you. Bye.
Like and subscribe. Thank you.